Now we get looks like Jeep.
So what would you think this thing is?
Well, it's I mean the front cap looks like a Jeep. So
Yeah,
looking at that,
it's a
is
Jeep.
that like a Renegade? Not a Renegade.
Somebody else said that this
Compass.
should be the new Cherokee. Yeah, Compass is a good guess. This is the all-electric Jeep Recon, which is the counterpart to the Wrangler.
Okay.
Hmm.
And so it's only going to be in four doors, but this is meant to be the super, super, super off-road electric vehicle from Jeep.
It looks
Uh,
like a direct competitor to Ford Bronco in a four-door variant.
Hmm.
yeah,
Does
yeah,
look
it
like
really
that, yeah.
is. Of course, it's got the 7-slot grill.
Right.
Since this is a Moab version, which uh, Jeeps that burn dead dinosaurs get to be called Rubicon if they're the most trail worthy. In the electrics, they've decided to go with the term Moab.
Yeah, mother of all beasts, huh?
There you go. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
So
okay.
that gives it the big old fat red tow hooks and everything like that.
Hmm.
No, it's a good looking piece, and hell, that would look really strong as a player if it was a gas burner. Okay, so we're looking at what, Grand Cherokee here?
No, that'll come later. I made the mistake too, and I'm looking and going,
Or is that a Wagoneer?
Yep, this is the redesigned Wagoneer. They
Okay.
decided to really redo it quite a bit.
Here
Yeah.
again, you see a little more sculpting.
Yep.
Because I mean, look, I mean, if the Wagoneer that's out there now, I mean, it's you talk about a fuselage look.
Here's a big, big difference right there.
Well, yeah, the convex,
No, the
uh,
word. They decided to put Jeep on it. The original Wagoneers, well, not the original, but the Wagoneer, the new Wagoneers, when they came out a few years ago, they distanced themselves because they wanted to be an ultra premium vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Well, what guy
Chrysler has
doesn't
made that
realize
mis Yeah, Chrysler's made that
Jeep is
mistake a few
already,
times, haven't they?
yeah. I mean, the Grand Cherokees, the Jeep Grand Cherokees that originally came out for 93 kicked the butts of all the Mercedes and well, there weren't any BMW sport utilities at the time, but they out luxuried all of the sport utilities from
Yep.
Europe at the time.
Yeah, I
And
saw those.
Jeep is not only synonymous with off road, but it's pretty highly synonymous with luxury.
Well,
Not
sure.
always. I mean, you do have Renegades and Compasses and such, which could dilute that image a little bit, but you know, there's nothing to walk away from on a Jeep as far as luxury.
When you look at the original Grand Wagoneers that came out in the late 50s and early 60s, again, that was luxury that was unheard of in trucks.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Nobody had that kind. No, nobody had any of that. So when you look at this, and again, the luxury that's a part of it, but getting back to my original comment, Chrysler, and of course, here's Stellantis, we saw this mistake made before with Imperial as trying to do a standalone, with Valiant trying to be a standalone, and distance yourself from, and to a certain degree, with the other lines, DeSoto competing against one another.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the key with Ram.
yeah, and so you got the vehicle. No, that's a great point. People understanding that Grand Wagoneer is a Jeep. I mean, why give up on 75 years or is it 70 or 70, 75 years of
Oh, Jeep.
history and
Oh, geez,
tie-in,
that'd be a
you
long
know, 1945. So,
Yep.
it's 80 years.
80. Yeah, 80 years.
You
Yep.
know, but
So interesting point. They tried to confuse the crap out of me, and they probably did a pretty good job. And I think they're gonna confuse a lot of consumers. So there used to be a Wagoneer, and then Wagoneer Series 2, Wagoneer Series 3, then Grand Wagoneer Series 2, Grand Wagoneer Series 3, and then Grand Wagoneer Obsidian.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I
then,
mean,
of
I can
course, there's
remember
the
that
two
too.
different ranks.
Yeah, yeah.
You have the regular and the L. Now, what they did was there's no more Wagoneer.
Hmm.
Yeah, Wagoneer is gone. It's grand. All of them are Grand Wagoneers, which makes a lot of sense because I mean, the Grand Wagoneer was what it was when it went away in '89. Well, now it's longer than that. Was it 90, 91?
Yeah, they introduced it for a few model years. It didn't, I think 92 was the last year for it, you know,
Yep. Oh, it had been around for, well, consistently
but
like
on a new platform back in the early
32.
90s when,
No, 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 that was the old platform that came from the '60s.
no, but they introduced on that because I remember seeing some of the wood grain units. It wasn't out long for Jeep, and I sold Jeeps in 1993 for that CJ retailer, and like I said, it wasn't around for long. I know what you're talking about. When there was the one that looked like the old Jeep truck from the 60s. It carried that old front cap on it. The if
They
you
changed they changed caps, they changed to the rectangular
Yeah,
headlights.
yeah,
But
but yeah, I know.
basically the Grand Wagoneer goes way back. I mean,
Well, sure, it
it,
goes back to the
it
50s.
they called it a Grand, they even called it a Grand Cherokee for a while.
Yeah,
Got
but no,
different.
to your point, this is a good look. Now, this is not the L, is it? This is looks like the shorter wheelbase. Is that correct?
I will not deny or confirm that, but I believe you're right. I believe this is the regular wheelbase.
Yeah, because I
Some of
mean, when
the
you pull up
Cherokees
next to a
are like
Grand Wagoneer, it is long. It is longer. It appears to be longer than a Suburban.
yeah, that
And
window tells me
and
that's pretty much, yeah, that's the regular.
yeah, I'm looking at how it's the curvature of that the rear doors.
There's your Grand Cherokee. So that's
Yeah,
also redesigned. So that's
yeah,
also redesigned for 2026. I mean,
yeah.
it's
But
it's like, you
it's
know,
similar. It's got a lot of the same styling, but a little more cuts. Of course, it says Jeep on it. But look at also the two-tone roof. Look where that cut line is. It's on an A-pillar, at the hood. Um, I mean,
but
that's just a
go
trendy
back to
look.
this one for a
Same
second.
thing there too. Look.
So the powertrains also got shook up. Now, we remember when the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer first came back again. I'm trying to think 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
Hmm.
They came with a 5.7 liter Hemi in the Wagoneer and the 6.4 Hemi in the Grand Wagoneer. Then later on, those were replaced by the Hurricane engines. The
Right.
small Hurricane engine, the 400 and 425. Oh no, I can't remember. 400s horsepower for the Wagoneer, and the high output one, the 540 horsepower Hurricane engine in the Grand Wagoneer. You can't get the high output engine anymore.
Yeah.
It's only the baby six cylinder, the little Hurricane. I mean, they're all 3 liters, but the 420 some odd horsepower Hurricane inline six is the standard engine in all the Grand Wagoneers. And then if you move up in powertrain, you know what you get? You'll never guess in a million years.
No clue.
A Pentastar 3.6 liter V6. But
Why?
that's okay because it does not drive the wheels. It's a generator on an electric platform. So if you move up powertrains in the Grand Wagoneer from the Hurricane regular output 6, you get a Pentastar V6 and you get batteries and you get electric motors and you get over 600 horsepower. It's basically the powertrain from the Ram Charger Dodge uh, series hybrid electric powertrain. So it's basically a diesel locomotive, except it's got a Pentastar V6 instead of a diesel engine.
3.6, right? Or is it a V6?
Yep. Yep.
3.6
3.6
V6.
Okay,
V6.
yeah.
Correct. Yep.
No, that's, you look at the horsepower output on a lot of these things, on these the hybrids, it's insane. But they got to get something to get to there, because a lot of the electrics on their own aren't capable. So you got to have that extra boost, and that's like the Pentastar. That it makes sense now that you say that.
Hmm.
And the
Um,
range is going to be somewhere around 600 miles.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
So the range anxiety question, seems to be, year after year be going away. It's just the infrastructure issues are always going to be with us. The hybrids seem to be, the next, best step of acceptance. And, once, I mean, 10 years from now, there'll be, a whole, heck of a lot more, charging stations that'll be available. You're not going to need quite as many if you get the range that you're looking at as far as getting stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere. If you have to go, a long ways between, metropolitan areas. But like from
So
here from here to, from New Orleans, let's say to Houston, it's about 300 miles.
5 hours, yeah, 5 hours.
So yeah, 5 hours. Let's say it's 300 miles. If you got a car of an electric vehicle, from New Orleans, there's a reasonable amount of charging areas, stations. You can get to Houston metro area, without any issue. So using it for travel, and I can tell you, um, the big thing that, with my son, the last vehicle he bought, he said, the Tesla he had couldn't make it to New Orleans from Houston on a single charge. And, whereas this vehicle, with a hybrid could, to get to there. So that to me is just going to open up a whole lot of different opportunities, than just, going all EV or all gas. You got to have the combination of all three and um, let
Yep.
the
This
consumers
is
decide.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more, and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you and it really helps out.